Our next guest says Senate Minority Leader Schumer and the Democrats are blocking President Trump's nominees for top jobs. He's got a point. 56 of President Trump's nominees have been confirmed by the Senate so far. At this point in President Obama's first term, 238 had been confirmed. What a difference. Joining us now, Senator John Kennedy, Republican from Louisiana. What are your options, Senator, to speed this up? What can you do?
There's not much we can do. I would just respectfully ask Senator Schumer to stop jerking everybody around. Go ahead. He knows that these people are going to be confirmed. Stop nitpicking the rules. Let us go ahead and get the president's people confirmed. Well, at the rate we're going now, we'll have everybody confirmed. I think it'll take about 11 years. That's what our analysis shows.
Would it make any difference if you were to drop the filibuster rule? I think that's called going nuclear. Would that make a difference?
Well, it would make a difference, but that's not going to happen, Stuart. That's not going to happen. And I don't want to see us get off on a tangent on something like that. Look, I was just listening to your comments earlier. You hit the nail on the head. Here's what we need to do now. We'll come back to health care. It's something we've got to address. We tried. We failed. We'll come back to it. Right now, we need to have one goal and one goal only. Tax cuts by November. You can call it tax reform if you want to. I call it tax cuts.
Right.
The economy, the first quarter, grew 1.4%. That's an embarrassment. The only way to get back to normal 3% growth is to cut taxes on people. You can do it by lowering the rates or increasing the standard deduction. We've got to cut taxes on business, not just the big C corps, but the LLPs and the LLCs and the partnerships and the sole proprietorships. If you do that, we'll get this economy moving again. But we've got to set a timeline. I say November, and we've got to do it.
What about these distractions that keep coming along, whether it's the Scaramucci saga or whatever it is, the chaos in the White House? That is a distraction which seems to be interfering with the tax cut timetable, doesn't it?
Well, it is a distraction, but you know what? It's also an excuse. I heard a lot of my colleagues on both sides of the aisle say, well, you know, we couldn't do tax reform. It was so hard. I mean, we couldn't do health care reform. It was so hard because of all the distractions. I mean, you know, grow up, okay? We're all adults. We're sent up here to do a job. Just ignore the distractions. You don't have to pay attention to all that. Look, we didn't get what we wanted on health care. We'll come back to it. Right now, I wish we'd started with tax cuts. But right now, we've got to get serious about getting this economy moving again, and the only way I know to do that is on the fiscal side. We've done everything we can do on the monetary side. It's the fiscal side, and you can pretty it up and use all the fancy language, but what we're really talking about is cutting taxes on people, cutting taxes on the middle class, cutting taxes on the big corporations, cutting taxes on the small corporations. Tax cut for everybody, and it'll get this economy back to a 3% growth, which is where we ought to be.
You see, that's why you're popular. It's not just that wonderful accent, which I would love to learn. No, it's going straight at it. Straight at it. You speak in sound bites.
It took me years to perfect this accent, Stuart. Years.
Well, if you ever want to give lessons on how to teach an Englishman to speak properly, I'll take those lessons, sir. Mr. Senator, thanks for joining us, sir. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Stuart. Thank you.